Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Welcome back, Detroit Focus family, to another explosive episode where we break down everything happening with the most exciting team in the National Football League, our Detroit Lions. And since we have officially hit the month of July, you already know what time it is. First and foremost, a very happy 250th Independence Day coming right around the corner to all of you out there. It is a historic milestone, and it looks like I am actually slated to record right on the 4th of July, which is an awesome way to celebrate. But let's get down to business. When July hits the NFL calendar, we enter a notoriously weird dead month for actual hard news. Minicamps are wrapped up, OTAs are completely in the rearview mirror, and we are stuck in this brief calm before the storm until players report for training camp at the end of the month. Once August hits, things fly at 1,000,000 miles per hour. But on this channel, July is the perfect time to get creative, slow things down, and truly analyze the masterful architecture of this roster. I have been having an absolute blast going back and watching old game tape because, like the rest of you, my brain is screaming for football season to get here already. The main catalyst for today's deep dive is ESPN analyst Seth Walder, who just took a crack at grading every single NFL team's off-season performance. July is officially off-season grading season, where the national media rehashes the draft, evaluates free agency, analyzes roster talent, and slaps down PIF rankings. Today, I want to do a highly revealing two-part exercise. I am going to show you exactly how Walder graded our Lions, and then we are going to do a fascinating year-over-year roster comparison, matching up last year's squad at this exact time to the current 2026 depth chart. This will remind you just how drastically a roster can mutate between early July and the regular season opener, and it will solidify my core argument despite what national pundits think. This Detroit Lions team is significantly better than it was 12 months ago. Before we dissect these grades, let's look at how the rest of the league fared in Walder's eyes. The Philadelphia Eagles walked away with a glowing A grade, a mark that feels a bit questionable given their mixed bag of moves. The Los Angeles Chargers secured an A-, largely because the media is deeply infatuated with their new offensive coordinator hire. The Miami Dolphins also landed an A- because Walder loved the fact that they completely emptied their cupboards, signed Malik Willis to a major deal, and braced for a reset year that could land them right in the mix for a top draft pick. Then things get truly bizarre. The Chicago Bears were handed a B+ grade, which makes absolutely zero sense to me. The Bears traded away star wide receiver DJ Moore, did practically nothing to address their glaring weakness at edge rusher, and managed to turn an existing strength into a total vulnerability. But then again, I openly detest the Bears, so take my bias for what it's worth. The Cleveland Browns also pulled a B+ as they wisely hit the reset button to hunt for a true franchise quarterback. Over in Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers snagged a B+ after extending Christian Watson and giving him more money than Jamison Williams. Is Watson actually a better receiver than Jamo? Absolutely not. Green Bay hitched their entire wagon to an incredibly injury-prone target. Meanwhile, the New York Giants and San Francisco 49ers both floated into the B+ tier as well. That brings us directly to the Detroit Lions, who were assigned a flat B grade by ESPN. Walder noted that Detroit's biggest and best move of the entire offseason was drafting Clemson offensive tackle Blake Miller at number 17 overall to replace 10-year veteran anchor Taylor Decker. Now, Decker eventually signed with Kansas City, and when you look at the astronomical contract numbers he demanded versus what Detroit would have been forced to pay him, the Lions are breathing a massive sigh of relief. Walder also highly praised Brad Holmes for trading veteran running back David Montgomery to the Houston Texans, noting that maximizing draft capital for an older back is always smart business. However, the single move Walder absolutely hated was Detroit's decision to extend star linebacker Jack Campbell. To that I say, You are being completely foolish. Campbell is a premier thumper and the structural heart of our defense. But I don't care what ESPN thinks, I want to know what you think. Let's look directly at our current offensive roster and compare it to last July. Right now, our primary wide receiver group features Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and rising talent Isaac Tesla. Our offensive line features foundational pillars and young beasts like Penei Sewell, Christian Mahogany, Cade Mays, Tate Ratledge, and rookie Blake Miller. Sam Laporta anchors the tight end spot, Jared Goff is under center, and Jahmyr Gibbs is ready to explode out of the backfield when evaluating the quarterback, tight end, and starting running back positions. It is a clean wash because the elite core of Goff, Laporta, and Gibbs are all safely back in the building. Now, let's open up the historical archives and look at the Detroit Lions roster exactly 1 year ago today. On July 1st of last year, the wide receiver room consisted of St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and veteran Tim Patrick. Ask yourself this critical question. Would you rather have a healthy, ascending Isaac Tesla starting the season as your number 3 wide receiver or Tim Patrick? I am taking Tesla all day long. Patrick ended up being released before the season even got legs, which perfectly illustrates how much a roster can transform in a few weeks. Last year, we had Kene Nwangwu backing up the backfield. Now we have the explosive Greg Dortch filling roles. Look at the other wideout names from last summer: Malik Taylor, Ronnie Bell, and Meeks. Half of those guys didn't even sniff the final roster, showcasing the massive upgrade in overall depth we are seeing today. The most dramatic transformation, however, is along the offensive line. Last year's line started with Decker, Mahogany, Ratledge at center, Glasgow, and Sewell. On paper last July, you could convince yourself that group might be decent. But it didn't hold up, and the depth behind them was a total crisis zone featuring Frazier, Cologne, Icard, Dan Skipper, and Giovanni Manu. Bringing it back to the current 2026 roster, the difference between the starters and the backups on the offensive line is absolute night and day. Penei Sewell is locked in. Even if rookie Blake Miller experiences standard rookie growing pains, his baseline athletic profile will be an immediate upgrade over what an aging, banged-up Taylor Decker provided last season. Furthermore, Cade Mays entering the lineup will outperform Graham Glasgow's previous output. Mays could have the single worst statistical year of his career and still eclipse the production we got out of Glasgow last year. Add in Christian Mahogany and Tate Ratledge entering their next phases of development, and this starting unit is vastly improved. The bench depth is where Brad Holmes truly built a fortress. Larry Borum is a massive upgrade over Dan Skipper, who has officially retired from playing to join the coaching ranks. Miles Frazier is still developing, Juice Scruggs provides excellent interior security, and Ben Barch is a highly reliable asset. Throw in a much more experienced Giovanni. Look at historical context. We have seen running backs excel in Detroit's heavy run scheme, like Jamal Williams, who looked like an all-pro here and then completely fell off a cliff the moment he signed elsewhere. Montgomery had the absolute best years of his football career right here in Detroit behind a dominant line. Will he replicate that same success in Houston behind a vastly inferior blocking unit? Only time will tell, but Detroit's system elevates the position naturally. Quickly shifting over to the defensive side of the ball, the current front consists of Aiden Hutchinson, Tyreek Williams, Aleem McNeil, and DJ Wanham. The linebacker core features Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, and Malcolm Rodriguez. While the linebacker group might look slightly leaner on the outside on paper, the secondary has been completely revamped with elite competitive depth. We brought in Christian Izien, veteran safety Chuck Clark, and Roger McCreary for premium corner depth, alongside drafting ASU standout Keith Abney II. Let's contrast that with the defensive line of last July, which rolled out Hutchinson, DJ Reader, McNeil, and Marcus Davenport. Our current edge rushing depth is light years better than it was 12 months ago. While the interior defensive line remains a relative wash, the linebacker room last year relied heavily on Alex Anzalone. With Anzalone gone, Malcolm Rodriguez has elevated from a high-energy backup into a full-time starter, and the addition of former Michigan linebacker Jimmy Rolder gives us a highly intriguing weapon in the second line of D games. He struggled heavily in coverage, and his efficiency metrics completely reflected that. Robertson didn't even rank as a top we were relying on last summer. Maurice Norris, Dan Jackson, and Khalil Dorsey. Avonte Maddox was still being listed as a pure corner before eventually transitioning back to safety. Now, we still have Rock Ya-Sin providing veteran insulation, and the floor of our defensive backfield is infinitely higher. We cannot definitively guarantee that the starting secondary will explode out of the gate as a top 5 unit because we are still waiting on official medical clearances regarding the long-term return timelines for Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. But when you look at this roster holistically, there is no shadow of a doubt that our offense has evolved into a much deadlier, faster, and more youthful machine. The defense has an arguable trajectory, but the baseline depth ensures we won't crumble if a single starter goes down. Therefore, while Walder's B rating is fine for national television consumption, it misses the macro-level genius of what Brad Holmes accomplished with limited financial real estate. On paper, Marcus Davenport was a massive gamble who struggled to stay on the grass. DJ Wonnum provides that exact same high-end execution while being a remarkably durable football player. Plus, landing Michigan edge rusher Derek Moore in the second round provides an immediate upgrade in fresh-legged depth over the older rotation. This roster is loaded with big, violent bodies ready to compete. It is officially time for Tyreek Williams to claim his crown on the interior. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive episode of Detroit Focus. If you made it all the way to this point in the video, you are an absolute legend. Let me know your exact thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you love the structure of this offseason, or do you agree with ESPN's grade? Smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single piece of Detroit Lions content. Have an incredible rest of your day, stay safe, and I will see you all in the very next video.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.